stories that impact your career. And again, today, just like as usual, we are having today's guest, and the guest, I can say it's a special guest for all of us. And the reason for the special guest, as I mentioned, that this what we are discussing about the career. And here the mission of today's guest is he is on a mission to impact the life of 1 million students. Yes, students and professionals by changing them to changing on personal transformation. So that is one of the great thing, and that really, at least I personally like that particular mission. The reason most of few of you definitely know that what exactly I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to help students, professional who are struggling in their career go into the next level. Even handful of them are not getting job in spite of having good degree. That good degree,
Yeah.
I'm talking about B, Tech, and all those kind of things. So this talk show is dedicated to all of you if you are struggling to get into, and that how we are going to just get into this by just listening to our guests. So welcome Tauseef in our talk show, and yes, we are going to listen, and the whole aim is to definitely we all are struggling after our graduation or while doing graduation, and
Of
that is the
course.
almost all of us long back definitely. So yeah, so just give us a little bit brief intro about yourself, then we will come into
Sure.
detail what yeah.
Absolutely. First of all, I would like to say thank you, Upendra, for inviting me here. And you have been so energetic in actually introducing me and introducing this entire podcast. And I really love it. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. So, as far as I'm concerned, I come from a very small village, which is actually situated in Uttar Pradesh, and the district is Amethi, which is always controversially famous for its political reasons. Most of the people know, that Amethi is always, famous for politics and all those things. So, my I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and my family was well-to-do. My grandfather was a very big man, and but the only problem with my family was that my grandfather never went to school. My father was 10th standard fail. He failed in 10th standard. My uncle failed in ninth standard. So hardly anybody valued education in my family. As a result of that, when I was age 7, one of my neighbor came to my house, and he said a lot of things to my grandfather, that why are you not sending the kid to school? He is now 7. He has not even seen a school. So, when they scolded my grandfather, out of some shame, he actually enrolled myself in the school for the first time. And as you know, the family tradition in our country, contemporary India, sometimes, females doesn't have so much of say in the family. You have to abide by the person who is the main person in the family, right? So that's how I went to school, and the school was as such that till fifth standard I didn't know what was ABCD. I was not never taught in a school, and I only learned English from sixth standard. But it was my mom. So my mom was born and brought up in Delhi. I was fortunate to have my mom. She actually always valued that I should educate myself and I should study hard. But my grandfather always wanted me to work in field, as just like everybody else in the village. But my mom wanted me to study, and there would always be a conflict between my mom and grandfather. Sometime for some stationery, sometime he would not pay the fees, and there will be a lot of issues. So what really happened is that, this went on for some period of time, and one day my grandfather said that we can't fund your education, we can't fund your family. So he said to my father, you probably live somewhere else. So what really happened is, we were homeless and we were moneyless, we were foodless, we didn't have anything. So my father had to borrow some like 8,000 rupees from one of our relatives. And at that time, we remember we were planning to move to somewhere, and we were not able to find the home. Then at that time, my nana ji called my mother that, so my nana ji always stayed in Delhi since 1960, and he had his one of the home which was actually empty in nearby town. He said, "Why don't you shift there?" So we luckily we got the home and we shifted there, and there we have had good atmosphere of education. So I studied there. I remember I would travel, I would drive the cycle for about 30 kilometer every day in order to attend the college, up and down 30 kilometer. And it was very struggling because I was the eldest son in my family and I had to manage the house chores. I would buy the vegetables, I would get the filled cylinders on my cycle back to home, and I would do everything because my father used to stay in Saudi Arabia, very low paid worker, and my mother would stitch the clothes of others sometime to give us some extra food and to fund the education and to be able to pay for the tuition fees and all. And when I passed 12th standard, I came to Delhi in 2006. The only aim I had was to support my family financially because I had enough pain. My family went through a lot of struggle, but we always had held our head high because we lived respectfully. Even in our miserable time, we lived respectfully, and we came to Delhi. So when I came to Delhi, I enrolled myself into one of the technical course. It used to be called as Jet King at that time. I don't know if it exists now or not, but so I studied there for 1.5 years. At the same time, I enrolled myself in education, which I started doing my graduation side by side. And the only reason why I chose part-time graduation because I wanted to make money for my family. So I completed 1.5 year of diploma. So one day my center head said, Tauseef, you have secured great marks. Why don't you go ahead and teach students here? That
Mhm.
was my first job, and I was on cloud nine. That I used to wonder how people do the job at that time. Coming from UP, absolutely rural environment, coming directly to Delhi, and the atmosphere suddenly changed. And I was very happy. 6,500 rupees, my salary. I started my career from there, and I put a condition to them that I will just do the job for 6 hours, and for remaining hours I'll do study. And they accepted my condition. From there, my journey started, and I've always been a student.
Before we go
And
to next topic, just I want to know. So,
yeah,
6.5 thousand the first salary. So, which year it was?
it was. I think it was 2008.
Okay, so 2008 you started, and the reason I asked because a lot of people are think I'm going to work with this no money. Better I'll just sit idle. So here is the message. What I wanted to give means all viewer is mainly the student professional who are just about to start career. To start with, don't look for money. Example is there
Absolutely.
itself that whatever is there, you have to just learn from that and go to the next. So opportunities start not only for the big, the small one. Yeah, that's it. Continue, please. Thanks.
Thank you. And I think you said it right. It's important for all of the people, the students and the professional who are actually embarking upon their journey. They should not look for money primarily. They should look for career. They should look for learnings, because if you work on the input, the output will automatically come. So I would continue from there. So I remember I worked there for about 8 to 9 months, and I was so kid, and I remember that the center head, I met her once. I said that please increase my salary. I feel like I'm being paid less. And that conversation, so normally when you have the appraisal conversation, that's very professional. You talk about what value you have added, and I was so kiddish, and I was like emotional. Please increase my pay. It's been almost a year, but somehow she taught me something, and it didn't go along well. So I left that company and I joined the first multinational organization. Now when I joined my first MNC, uh, one of the things that I had to face was I didn't speak good English. So I was supposed to handle US clients, but I didn't have good English. So but I would say that I was able to get along. And when I got selected, the first thing that I had in my mind that I was supposed to go through a training of 2.5 months, and at the end of the training, I was supposed to give an exam. And if I was selected for successfully, then I will go to the job training. Otherwise, I'll be rejected. I used to have that fear in my mind always, that whether I would be selected, what if I fail, What if I don't get become successful? What if I don't get selected? That fear loomed around me for that period of 2.5 months. But I worked really hard and I did well. I got selected. But again, because came from UP, my dialect, my accent was not good. And sometimes people would mock me for my email communication. Sometimes they will make a mockery of my pronunciation. And people in corporate made me feel that I'm not fit for this job. And somehow I stayed with that limiting belief for a longer period of time. Although I was very hardworking, and because of my hard work and dedication and the result that I achieved, I consistently got promoted. But there came a time, I think roughly in 2015. At that point in time, I remember I was a team leader. An incident happened. So I was given a responsibility to start a new business within that organization. And I was given a condition that if you make this business successful, you will get promoted as an assistant manager. I started putting heart and soul. I hired people. I designed the training document. I trained them. I brought them to the on job training. And then one day, well, when we started that business, I saw one of my boss's boss coming to me. He said, "Tauseef, can you come with me? Pick your laptop, come with me." And it was very strange because ideally I would interact with my manager day to day basis, and it would rarely be some time that I would go ahead and interact with somebody who is the managers of manager, or who would be the head of the process. He came to me. He said, "Tausif, can you come with me?" I said, "Okay, fine, I'll come to you." He started leading to somewhere in the some unknown area where I have never been. Those zones which are restricted, not actually entry is not allowed for everybody. So he actually facilitated me. I went along with him, and he took me to a big board meeting room. So when I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself, why did he actually call me here? And then somehow the marketing president came, the one of the executive leader came, and some of the top leader came, and they were all interested in the new business. I didn't know anything about it. So I sat in front of marketing president, and marketing president had certain questions. He asked some certain questions, and I was just looking into his eyes like this. I was so overwhelmed. I was so awestruck that I could not answer his question. And I was thinking to myself that I know everything, but I don't know why the hell I'm not able to answer his question. Now, the problem was that I was fear stricken. I thought that somebody, how can I speak to somebody who has such a higher authority? And he asked me 3 4 questions. I was absolutely embarrassed, and along with me my manager was also embarrassed. That process head, he looked into my eyes and said, "Sosif, no problem, we shall catch you later. We'll speak to you later. You may leave." I actually looked down, and I took my laptop, and while I was coming from that meeting room, I was having certain questions in my mind. I was talking to myself that why could I not speak? I knew everything. Why did I get overwhelmed? And that day I had one of the big realization that unfortunately in the corporate world, most of the time what it happens that nobody will come and tell you that, "See, boss, this is where these are the areas of opportunity for you. You should work on these." Everybody will come and say, "Keep doing whatever you're doing," but they would never want you to grow. They might pull you down, but there will be few people who will definitely tell you that you should work upon these things. I'm not saying that everybody is like that, but if not people, experiences will tell you, incidents will tell you that you have to work upon those things unless you realize things. So I realized that one of the big problems that I had was my communication. If I don't work on it, then what would happen? I would not grow. And I knew it clearly. It was almost 3 to 4 years on the same position that I was. And if I don't work onto my communication, I'm not going to get promoted. So that's where one of my big realization that I need to work on my communication. But again, I was very careless. I didn't take actually concrete steps. But sometimes, as you might have heard, that you start working on when actually you meet the rock bottom in your life. That company started shaking itself Company met with a financial fiasco, and we did not get salaries for 4 5 years. Sorry, 4 5 months. We worked without salaries, and at that time we used to think that I will take my retirement from this company. I will not move on because I'm getting regular promotion, and someday I will get the another promotion. I'll be very happy. We used to do night shifts, but that company did not pay us for 4 months, which actually led us to change the company. And that was one of my turning point in my life, and I'm wondering that I will keep talking about it, but I would go back to you, Upendra. I'm sure you would have a lot of questions, so you know, I will
Yeah.
definitely
So
share everything.
yeah,
But would
definitely. So this one definitely we will love to just continue when right now we are leaving. But before that, see the question and number of question. What personally I used to just face from the graduates basically. Okay. So keeping in mind, put yourself in the final year or just about to pass graduation, and the main
Mhm.
question is what to do, where to start with, and most of the graduates are just stuck here. So the question to you, Tausif, is
Mm.
what exactly advice you'd like to give to those students just passed out, struggling to get small even job,
Mm.
and there are a number of options available, and mainly I'm right now focusing on the IT. In
Yeah.
top 4 5 technology are there, and
Mhm.
so what advice you would like to give them, that how to think and how to choose any one, because all five are having great future, but we cannot do all five, right?
Yeah.
So if you will be on that situation, having your experience in this, what exactly you will ask them to do step by step,
Sure.
if you can just guide? Yeah.
I think it's a very good question, and this, if I answer this, this will help most of the people who are actually struggling, who may be graduating recently or may have already graduated and are about to join any company. And first of all, I would like to say thank you for to Arvind sir who have joined us, and appreciate you joining here. So, in order to answer your question, Upendra, I think if I put myself into the shoes of those students and the professional who are just embarking upon their journey, who have just graduated, and I think I wish I could tell this to my 20-year-old self, that you need to work on your self awareness. One of the most underrated skill is personal awareness. The question is, do you know who you are? Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know what you're truly passionate about? Do you know what are your strengths? And do you know what are your weaknesses? Now, if you answer these questions initially as a student, what would happen? What benefit you will get? The benefit will be that you will try to choose the career which is mostly aligned with your purpose, right? For example, I didn't know this when I started my career. I could only figure out, I would say in 2018, 19, or maybe rather 20, that I have always been someone who would feel joyous and who will feel passionate about when I will contribute to somebody and see them becoming successful. I never knew this. I started my career as a trainer. I was fed up after some time, but I didn't know that that actually was my purpose. You connect the dot when you see back. But if you're a student, you have all the opportunities in the world because you're just starting now, and I'm sharing my experience. I wish I could tell this to my 20-year-old self when I was actually starting. I wish I could figure out who I was, what my purpose was, what I was truly passionate about, so that I could have been able to align myself to those job, to that particular career, and I'm sure I would have flourished better. But it's always, you know never late to begin anything. I realize something, and I now, anything that I actually want to do, any decision that I make in my life, anything that I buy, anything that I do, I always make sure, I always ask this question to myself: is this aligned with my purpose? Is this coming from my future self? Is this helping me to build my future desired identity? If the answer is yes, I take a decision like this. But if it is not going to help me, it is if it is against me, I will not take that decision. So before you do anything, work on your self awareness. You know what your passion is, you know what you truly love, and you there are several way you can do it. If you want to know what you're truly passionate about, ask yourself what makes you excited, what kind of a conversation cheers you up, right? What kind of a work that you do and you don't even feel a friction, what kind of work you do and you don't even feel as if you're getting bored, you consistently keep on doing it, and you keep on doing it, and you feel as if I'm not done yet and I want to do it more. That's your passion. And if you want to find the passion truly, do everything that comes your way. Out of 10 things you will know one thing, that oh yes, this is the one thing that got ticked, and this is my passion. So that's how you can find your passion. And if your passion makes start making you money, that turns into profession. And the profession, when you start contributing to the world with that money, that profession becomes your purpose. So what really happens is, as a student, if you work on yourself for figuring out who you really are, because the only way out is in. We always say this is something that Robin Sharma says, the only way out is in. Whatever you're figuring out externally, the companies that you want to join, the career that you want to choose, the job that you're looking for, the dream company that you have, or the friends that you're looking for, all of them will fall into place and will be aligned when you become self-aware, when you know that you truly want this. But if you don't know about yourself, what will happen? What's the disbenefits? The disbenefits is are like, you will drift away. You will be drifted by whatever opportunities will be thrown upon you. You will you will not have a choice. You will get everything by chance, right? So my only message to everybody, to all those students and the people who are just starting their career, first of all, work on your personal dispositions, work on your self awareness. Once you know who you are, then whatever decisions you will make in your life, they will fall on the way, and they will fall right on with the purpose, and they will align with your true self. Otherwise, you will live by chance, you will not live by choice.
No, it's a great insight, Tausif. And
Thank you.
yeah, so if I put myself in that time, that means after graduation, so hardly I have heard all these word what you just spoke to us just a few seconds back. So again, I know most of students, professional are yet to just came across all these things. Again,
Yeah.
advice from Tausif, what exactly if, because my liking is suppose related to singing, dancing, or extracurricular activity. Due to the family pressure, no, you have to do BTech in something XYG, and I have degree right now. What to do? Because everybody
Mm.
is expecting you are going to do job. So to start with, can you give any advice? Okay, for temporary basis, I think exactly you can choose XYG. So what is if handful of them are in this situation? That means they like something else due to
Mm.
pressure, maybe family, maybe society.
Mm.
They did something else, and right now they are in dilemma.
And I
Can you
think
give? Yeah.
And I think this is one of the problem in our society, that in Eastern world, especially in India and the Eastern countries, we are hardwired to not to take any risk. We are actually told that do not take any risk, stay safe, play safe, join this job which is secure, join the company which can give you job security. So we are hardwired to stay safe. But if you go to Western countries like United States or European countries, they are encouraged to take risk from their childhood. If they're doing any experiment, take an example of Thomas Alva Edison. One day he smashed 30 eggs, the whole tray. Right? He sat on those eggs, he smashed them, but their parents did not say any word to Thomas Alva Edison. If they would have stopped Thomas Alva Edison that day, and they would have said, What harm did you do? You made a mistake. Don't ever do this again. Don't ever dare to do this again. Do you think that Thomas Alva Edison would have invented these light bulbs? He would have not done it, right? So it's not the problem of our it's not our problem actually. And if you have this situation where you wanted to do something that you loved but you could not do that, you could not get the subject that you wanted to do, you could not get the job that you loved, it's not your problem, man. Don't punish yourself. It's absolutely fine. And today, if you're thinking so, that you could not do what you wanted to do, who's stopping you? Who is stopping you? Just do whatever you want to do. Take my example. When I started doing my first job, life gave that to me. Life thrown that to me, and I accepted it because I did not have any option. I did not have any choice. It happened to be by chance. The another company that I joined, again, it happened to be by chance because I wanted to make more money. I didn't have any choice. I worked there for about 6 years, 6.5 years. Again, it happened to me by chance because I was not self-aware. I didn't know what I want out of my life. I was getting the amount of salary. Whatever appraisal my boss would give me, I would not even question them because I didn't know something exists, of something of negotiation type of thing exists. I didn't even know that. And when I joined my existing organization, when I started working on my self development, I realized one thing, that you are the best project that you can ever work on, right? And you should invest within yourself, that I never used to do earlier. And as soon as I started investing within myself, I realized that there is so many things, there is so much in this world that I didn't know. I was surprised, I was shocked that whatever I did so far, it happened to me by chance. Then in 2018, I said that because I have always been, one of my values is that I have always been a lifelong student. I'm always a student. I will be a student because I want to learn. I am passionately very curious. I decided that whatever I'm doing, I thank to God that I got this. I'm supporting my family. I'm making money, and I'm contributing. But whatever has happened to me so far, it has happened by chance. Now I want to do anything what I really love now. I want to do something that I choose to do. Then I heard about project management. I said that, okay, with every project, you learn something new because project has a specific end date, specific start date. And whenever you work with different projects, you get to learn a lot of things and you are always put into challenges. And that's how you grow. I gave an interview, I failed. I did certification, I prepared, I went back, I passed. I was selected for project management. That day I realized that I got something that I chose consciously. And that's where I moved from chance to choice. And when you actually get the results for something that you truly love, that you for something that you worked for, it's an unimaginable feeling. It's an amazing feeling always. So that's how I started. So from there on, I actually started working on my personal development, things. And then I went through a 6 month of personal transformation training, and I started working on my communication. I started my YouTube channel. I somebody gave One of my friend gave me a 50-day video challenge where you make 50-day video and you have to edit them, you have to upload them. So I made 89-day videos consistently just to improve my communication, and I put them on YouTube. I got a very good response, and then I started my journey on social media. I thought that everybody consume but nobody produce, so I started producing a lot of content on social media, and fortunately I got a massive response from all places. So I personally feel that you should do what you love, and there is no age for doing what you truly love. Even if you're 60, even if you're 70, there are example in the world which exist, which actually tells us that people have even built successful companies at the age of 65. Take an example of KFC. Everybody eat KFC chicken. The founder of KFC chicken started KFC at the age of 65. So don't tell me that you cannot do what you love and age is a barrier. Or maybe, I think the only barrier is your own limiting belief. The only person who can stop yourself is you, my friend. And the only person who can actually elevate yourself is you. So you have a choice. Either you be your enemy, or be you be your friend. It's up to you, right? So anybody who think that they could not get an opportunity to do something that they wanted to do, or anybody who think that there is a family pressure, or anybody who think that somebody will judge them, I think nobody is ultimately going to put the food on your table. It is you who will put the table on your put the food on your table, and you will support your family. Nobody is going to rescue you. So if nobody is going to rescue you, then why the hell you're giving so much of attention and so much of your thoughts to somebody else? You take care of yourself first, right? There's no
Wow.
point.
So it's a really great this learning. Now, what I got from Tausif, whatever you have suggested. So, couple of the basic, if I'll just put in maybe a single line or maybe one or two point here is get out of your comfort zone. Okay, start believing on you. Nobody
Yes,
else will just come and say okay, and start believing in you means whenever you will do any step, any new step, people will come and say to
they
you,
will
why
judge
you
you.
do this? Why you do? Now they're not here to help you, but if you are taking any baby step, they will give you advice where they are
Of
right
course.
now. So start believing on you, not to other. For that, if you're still having some confusion, just do some research,
Absolutely.
and that is going to give you different level of confidence. Now coming back to Tausif again, the same question related to, though we are just focusing, and you also suffered, I also suffered, and right now people are suffering in
Yes,
more big way. Okay,
they do.
so what exactly advice you'd like to give, any top two advice
Hmm.
a passed out struggling to get or start the career? So any piece of just
Hmm.
two advice, where to start, what they should be doing. Suppose I got your input, I start doing this, so that they can get some clarity.
Sure. I think if you are struggling because you're confused, the first thing that you should do is you should celebrate it. Remember, you're only confused because your mind is playing a lot of things. You're trying to think about a lot of things. You're doing a lot of research, and that is because you're confused. Anybody who is not doing anything at all, that means they're not confused. They are not even bothered about anything. So do not punish yourself if you're confused. Rather, celebrate it. Eat an ice cream, date yourself, do whatever you want to do, and take a pat on your back and say, man, you're trying to do so many things, you're thinking about so many things. Celebrate it. Second, at times it is very important to work as a team. You cannot do anything and everything on yourself alone. So let's say that you want to build your career in IT. Okay, I would advise you to approach somebody who has built a successful career in IT, because he has walked that path. The path that you want to walk, he has already walked that path. He know where the pitfall is. He know where the turn is, right? He know how the destination looks like. So that guy can guide you better as to what you can do to start your career. So always have a mentor, always take an advice from somebody who can guide you what to do in your career. And I always say, uh, always know your strength, and ask your mom and dad, ask your best friends, ask your colleague, like, what do you think that I'm good at? Sometime we are so blind that we fail to identify our own potential, but there are people around us who always give clues, who always say that, Tausif, you're very good at this, why don't you do this, why don't you try this? But we actually do not pay attention to other people's opinion sometime, and we say that he's just making a joke of it. So it's very important to know your potential. Take advice from somebody who has already done that you want to do in your life, because ultimately if you start doing everything on your own, that might take a lot of time. But if you go to somebody and take the guidance who has already done what you want to do, he might say, okay, do this in 5 minutes like this, and you will do this. So why to waste time, right?
Yeah,
So
that
take the
that's
guidance.
true.
Of course, take the guidance, work on yourself, know your strength, and then there are many, many career options today as opposed to 10 years back. So it's very easy. It has become very easy nowadays. You go on YouTube, there are many, many career guide who have uploaded some amazing videos who can tell you, which can actually teach you what you can choose, what is best for you according to your strength. If you make good art, you're an architect, but you have chosen science, you want to become a scientist. Somebody said you should become a scientist. What would happen? You will become a very poor and miserable scientist. But if you loved machine and somebody said you become an actor, you will become a miserable actor. So as you might have seen the Three Idiot movie, that if somebody would have advised Sachin Tendulkar to start singing and somebody would have advised Lata Mangeshkar to start playing cricket, what would have happened? They would have not become a cricketer or a singer. They would have been a disaster. So
That's
so identify your strength, and according to your strength, think about what career would be better for you, because everything has a relevance in this world. Whether you are able to identify it or not is a question.
wow. So it's a great, and let me conclude whatever three, 4 point you made. So one of the great point, and I can just relate with that is, suppose you are confused, and maybe you are having thinking, okay, I'm good at this or that. Go and talk to the people or expert
Yeah,
in all these three domain or three area, and they will be just definitely, if you start approaching them, not everybody but handful of people will definitely help you, and just
absolutely.
ask them, saying that, okay, I am thinking this, can you please guide, because you have already walked that path, and he is going to be the great advisor for you.
Yeah,
Likewise, just talk to or speak to maybe three, four people in the specific domain. You will be getting a lot of clarity. Not only clarity, you are going to save tons of your time. What just Tauseef mentioned. That means they have already walked. Means what? They may just face a number of hurdles. They will be guiding you. Okay, do this thing, and you are going to save years of your career. And same thing it means happened with me also. Okay, now
I'm
while
sure.
discussing this, Tausif, you mentioned the mentor. Okay,
Yeah,
so what exactly your is your own personal thought or the suggestion about the mentorship? What exactly, how this mentor impacted so far in your career, maybe personal, maybe professional?
sure. So, you know what? We are very fortunate that we are living in a very great country, and our history tells us that every warrior, every great sports person, every one of the greatest actors, everybody had mentors. Everybody had someone who guided them, that actually helped them to excel in their domain. Even if you take an example of you know time, those ancient times of 2000, 4000 years back, people used to have mentors, and mentees used to have utmost respect for their mentors. That time of Guru Dakshina, you remember, even if they will ask for their thumb, they will happily cut it and they will give it to their gurus. So what do we learn out of this? We learn that importance of having a mentor is very, very significant, because my mentor always say that when you get a mentorship, you buy the speed. Because if somebody has done something and you want to do that, go and buy that, pay them, and that will help you to reduce the time that you would spend if you were to do the same thing on your own, right? So when you get the mentorship, first of all, you know the things that you would have never have thought about. You would do the things that you would have never thought it was possible, and you will achieve the things that you would have never thought that it can be achieved. So having mentorship is very important. Personally, in my life, the reason why I'm able to communicate in front of the camera so effectively and so smoothly The reason I would be able to comfortably speak in front of an audience as well, so one day my mentor said, Tauseef, language is not the problem with you. And I think language was never a problem with you. And I said, how come he knew this? Nobody in my life told me that language was not a problem with you. Tauseef, you speak English very good. But my mentor, I don't know how did he knew. How did he know that? He said language is not a problem with you. The only problem is the new ideas, thoughts, the content. And if you start doing better in terms of generating new ideas, thoughts, reading something, watching something better, you will do fantastic. And I realized that all this time, everybody used to say that your English was poor, your communication was poor, and you can't do better in life. And that's the importance of mentor. That one line gave me that confidence. And I feel as if I am becoming unstoppable, especially in terms of communicating myself. I speak my heart and I share my story with pride. I don't feel the fear of judgment. I don't care what people are thinking about me. And even at this moment I work with the companies. I'm really proud to work with the companies. I don't care what my people, what my bosses think about me, because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing everything right, contributing to the people, helping them grow, helping myself grow, and it is also helping me in my professional life, and it is helping me to contribute to the people around me. So having mentorship is extremely important.
No, great. And just related to that, this is a common question again. People are asking, okay, how to find mentor? So, what exactly your take on this? Because, frankly speaking, to start with my career, I was not aware of the value of mentor. Okay, so what exactly advice or
Again
you?
again I would go back to the same thing that I was discussing. The only way out is in. Figure out what you're good at, what you want to do in life, and then figure out whatever you want to do in your life, whatever your goals are. Think who has achieved that you want to achieve. If you find that person, yes, he is the person, he can help me to achieve my future identity. Let's say that I want to become one of the world's biggest influencer. If I have that goal, then who will I go with to? I will find some of the top influencer of the world, maybe Tony Robbins, Simon Sinek, and I will envision myself becoming their mentee, because I know that all they have already walked that path, and they have already made their name. So that's how I will choose. See, the decision making, always it should come from your values, from your strength, and from your future self. But ironically, most of the people take the decision based upon the something or the incidents that has happened in the past. If something went wrong in the past, they feel that it can be wrong in the future. But reality is that past is not equal to future. It is absolutely different. If you have failed onto something, does not guarantee that you will fail in the future on the same thing. Why do you stop yourself? You just continue doing better and better every day, and you'll. So coming back to your question, I think the best way to find your mentor is to find yourself first. If you find yourself first, then you will find a better mentor.
Oh, great. And yes, whatever the point you made, and one thing is really I can just relate is your past is not equal to your future. Whatever you have
Correct.
just done, it's okay. Whatever result you already got it. Now, whatever you will start doing now, result will be just accordingly. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, do some research, and nowadays everything is available. Just type, you'll be getting all the personalities. Just ping them, get in touch if they're ready. You can relate with them. Just the simple way what we can say, right? Now, just almost we are coming to the end, Tashif, and here is one basic again question: is what advice? Like we all know that books is one of the main ways we can just grow with wealth. So, what is the advice? Which book changed Tausif life, career, whatever, and the same advice you would like to give to the students, mainly the graduates who are just about to pass or struggling to go into the next level?
Okay. I would like to share one thing. One day, my mentor shared this with me, and I think everybody know about this story. That somebody asked that the fastest animal in the jungle is tiger. The heaviest animal in the jungle is elephant, and the mightiest animal in the jungle may be some other thing, and the cleverest animal in the jungle is fox. The poisonous, the poisonous animal in the jungle is snake. Then why do we call king of the jungle as lion? Why do we call lion as the king of the jungle? What is that one quality that makes lion king of the jungle? And the answer was attitude. Your attitude will define everything in your life. So remember, let me decode how do we achieve our results in life. So our results upon depends upon the actions that we take, and the action depends upon how we behave. However we behave, those actions comes from our behavior, and the behavior comes from feelings. Like if we are feeling very poor, we will behave very angrily. Maybe will behave very poor, and the actions will also be poor, and the results will also be poor. And the feelings comes from thoughts, and the thoughts comes from our program, the conditioning, like whatever we have been told from our childhood. Let's say if we believe that we are not good enough because somebody told me in the family that you cannot become successful, so you hired that belief in your mind. Now whatever decision you take in your life, you always feel low about yourself because you have a very low self esteem, and because you feel low about yourself, you take similar decisions, and you take poor decision, it leads to poor results. So it's very important to identify what you believe into, what are your limiting beliefs, and fix your attitude. How? So whatever you think, you say, and you do will determine where will you go. And we then figured out, then we identified that if we want to change our results, we will have to change the way we think, right? And if we want to change the way we think, we will have to change the way we believe into things, right? And the only way you can do it if you associate with yourself with the right people who talk really good, or you watch something which is very positive that can change your perspective, or you read something which is better. So, and if you want to work on your attitude, I remember when the first book that I read after leaving my formal education was Attitude is Everything. It was written by Jeff Keller. It's a very, very cost effective book. I think it will just cost you 150 rupees. But it actually changed the way I would think about myself. And it actually changed the way I would speak with somebody. When I read that book, next day when I went to the office, somebody asked me, "Hey, Tauseef, how are you?" I said, "I'm fantastic." So remember, your psychology changes your physiology. So, but before that, how do you think people will respond when you ask them, "How are you?" Not too bad. Yay, I'm okay. If you say, "I'm okay," you will remain okay. You will remain average, right? Yeah, I'm good. You will be good. If God has given you the choice of words, why don't you say that I'm doing great? Even today, if somebody will ask me, I have now it has become an automatic habit that when somebody asks me, "How are you doing?" I would say, "I'm doing great." And if you speak the right language, you're impressing your subconscious mind. You're programming your mind with something better, and it will help you to change the way you think. And if you change the way you think, you will change the way you take action, and your results will also change. So Attitude is Everything is one book that I would always recommend to anyone. And I'm not saying that there are not others, there are not any other books in the market. There are many books, and I've not read all of them. I've just read handful of them. But Attitude is Everything is my first book that I actually read. I think from then I would have read almost 25 to 30 book already, and I can share many book about many book. But attitude is everything to start off with, to change your perspective, to change your mind, will definitely help you. Thank you, Samir Chakravarti. Very inspiring for all. You are all pride. Thank you so much. Judhishthir Pandey, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, over to you.
So the as a whole, yes, we are done for today's sharing, and yes, thanks a lot, Tausif, for giving all very much valuable input for all the viewers. And takeaway for me, if I'll conclude everything in this last 45, 46 minute or 50 minute, the journey, what we just about to finish is attitude is everything. So
Absolutely.
if you'll focus only on this, you are going to achieve whatever you are thinking. So
Right.
thank you so much to all of you. And yes, we'll be just coming in the next another episode with one of the another great leader, great means share definitely we are going to have, and that will impact our journey, maybe the career into the next level. So till that, goodbye to all of